If someone tells me to explain Your Line April in one word, I would definitely say inspirational. Even though I'm not a musical person, it woke the artist in me.
Thank you, Your Line April.
Even though I watched it all in February.
Bruh.
Okay, my very first impression of this show was, why couldn't it be shorter? Like a movie. Why does it have to go on for 22 episodes? Yeah, if you haven't guessed, I didn't play the show yet. That was my very first impression of it. But then I actually watched it, and that's where I swallowed my tongue. By the way, if anyone is wondering, yes, this was also part of my list. But again, I never bothered to actually watch it because I was too busy trying to finish One Piece. Oh, come on, why is One Piece always rooted into all of these review videos? Koseyaruma. A small, awkward little boy who has a dream of becoming a pianist to make his mother proud. His mother has been sick for a while now. Her illness is not getting any better. But he believes that his talent could make her feel better, maybe even heal her. So he practices day in and day out. And one day he performs very well, makes everyone captivated by the music he plays. But his reward for all of that?
He's just a kid! Your performance was garbage!
Enraged, Kosei decides to say something quite mean to his mother.
I don't care anymore. I just wish you were dead.
Which sadly he regrets for the rest of his life. As a consequence, he becomes scarred, unable to hear the notes of the piano, almost like he is sinking in an ocean of sadness. But just like how there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, he also meets that light in the form of a girl named Kaori. She's a violinist, and she wishes for him to play the piano with her on a grand stage. Kaori makes him think of another reason to play his piano. Positives wise, definitely one of the biggest positives has to be the soundtrack and like the background music that plays. Every few minutes that piano keys like tingling basically hits the back of your brain, and I love it. Every time someone mentions this anime, the first thing that hits me is the music, and then the story, and then the characters. It is impressive to say the least, and like it is so well blended with it. Even when you're reading the manga and then you move on to the anime, it feels seamless, and it sometimes even gets enhanced. It like pushes the good parts about making an anime further thanks to this music, and it's perfectly encapsulated by the soundtrack. I mean, if I could, I would definitely give a firm handshake to this artist, who I will not be naming due to me failing 15 times. Yeah. And the same goes also for the pianist as well as the violinist who also composed the music for the performance in the anime. I gotta say one thing. Are you like twins or something? Because damn, that's like sync. Like two different instruments, but still so much in sync. Like that's incredible.
So yeah, in summary, yes, the music is definitely one of the most standout parts and one of the biggest positives about this.
Another one.
A1 Pictures being chosen as the animation studio. A1 Pictures definitely took their real time for making each frame. They did use CGI in some parts, especially the piano bits, which I can understand because that's like so many frames and like you know how fast people go with pianos. And it's very well done. Sometimes I even thought it wasn't just hand-drawn animation instead of CGI. But regardless, it is amazing. Some frames belongs to be in wallpapers. That's how amazing the A1 Pictures have done. Even though they did give 7 Deadly Sins to these people, I still don't forgive them for that. So animation wise also, it's pretty well done, well choreographed, like the movements and everything feel very human, and good job, A1 Pictures.
So the negatives wise, I would definitely say the story kind of pushing a resolution or like a reasoning for the mother character of Kosei, like a justification for her abuse, which quite frankly didn't hit well with me. I personally was not a big fan of it. It still makes me want to hate her even more than anything. I felt very much like it was unnecessary because we were shown to believe and hate her from the beginning. Like she was like the reason why Kosei was incapable of playing the piano. That scarred memory, that was the reason. And her getting a justification for it still doesn't work with me. But that's just my personal opinion. It could be completely different for you. The second negative I feel about the show is that after a certain point, it becomes very predictable. If people already like watch lots of melodrama and like sad type of stories and watch this, it kind of becomes predictable. Some scenes become very obvious that's leading up to this or like up to that. Basically, it becomes very much predictable and it kind of lacks the impact which was being built up to, which is kind of sad in my opinion. I wanted some scenes to hit very hard. I wanted that big scene before the end of the last episode to hit hard, but it didn't due to it being so heavily led on from the beginning, making it super predictable. And when it actually arrived, it was exactly what I predicted. And for the third negative, I think is there's this one girl character which gets introduced before the final few episodes. I felt like she was unnecessary. She was kind of like taking the episode space away from both the main characters as well as the already earlier introduced new characters. I think they could have given more depth to the rivals, like the two rival characters, but they chose to go more depth towards this new young character. I don't know why.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would.
In conclusion, I will definitely say this is a masterpiece. This is a must-watch work with a lot of repeat value too. It teaches us a lot of lessons about keep trying, art, and also like relationships too, which I very much appreciate from an anime. It is definitely a must recommend. I might even recommend you watch it like one per day just to get that nice feeling of like that daily dose. That's how I watched it. Like every day I watched one episode each and it was nice. I'll also make a small snarky comment, which is just my own opinion again. I do feel like the first intro hit a bit harder than the second one. I was not a big fan of the synth-funny intro. Just my own opinion, that's it. And rating wise, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It is very good. I'll place it right above Violet on this fancy new list I made of every anime I reviewed. And my favorite episode definitely has to be the last episode. It basically wraps everything up. It did something like I didn't expect. I expected it to take at least 2 episodes to do a proper conclusion, but they managed to completely do a 360 on that last episode, giving a proper conclusion. And my favorite character is definitely Kaori, because why not? Of course. And the character I hate the most definitely has to be Kozu's mother, if you haven't guessed. So, as always, make sure to press the button which I'm not planning on naming, because I want to be unique. So I'm not going to say it. So press that button starting with S and make sure to like. And as always, thanks for watching and stay solid.
Hey, did you like this review video? Well, if you do, make sure to click on this review video I did. And if you want to check out something different from my channel, make sure to press on the video in below it. And as always, have a nice year going forward. And tell me down in the comments below how was your April going.